Frieren, Beyond Journey's End confuses many fans not because it is poorly written, but because it deliberately rejects almost every familiar storytelling signal that anime viewers are conditioned to rely on, creating a viewing experience that feels emotionally muted, structurally loose, and thematically opaque to those expecting clearer direction, clearer goals, or clearer emotional cues. And one of the most common points of confusion expressed online is the anime's relationship with time itself. As Frieren's long lifespan causes years, decades, and even entire human lives to pass with minimal emphasis, leaving some viewers unsure which moments are meant to be significant and which are intentionally fleeting, especially when emotionally important events are introduced and resolved quietly without dramatic framing or explicit payoff. This confusion deepens with the anime's frequent time skips, which are often presented without traditional narrative markers, making it difficult for some fans to track character development, emotional progression, or cause and effect relationships, particularly for viewers accustomed to linear growth arcs, where change is clearly shown rather than implied. Another major source of confusion is Frieren herself as a protagonist, because she does not behave like a conventional main character, rarely vocalizing her emotions, ambitions, or internal conflicts, which leaves many viewers unsure of what she wants at any given moment or how much she has truly changed, leading to debates online about whether her growth is subtle, non-existent, or intentionally understated to the point of obscurity. This uncertainty extends to the anime's emotional storytelling, as Frieren often presents moments of loss, regret, or reflection without instructing the audience how to feel about them, relying heavily on silence, atmosphere, and implication rather than dialogue or confrontation, which for some viewers creates emotional resonance, but for others feels like emotional ambiguity bordering on detachment. Fans frequently express confusion about whether certain scenes are meant to be sad, hopeful, nostalgic, or simply observational because the anime refuses to underline its themes with overt emotional cues, leaving interpretation entirely in the hands of the viewer. The structure of the story itself adds another layer of confusion, as Frieren often shifts between episodic travel segments and longer narrative arcs without clearly signaling which events will matter later, causing some viewers to feel like they are watching disconnected vignettes rather than a cohesive journey, especially early on when the overarching purpose of Frieren, Beyond Journey's End Travels, is more philosophical than plot-driven. This lack of a traditional goal-oriented narrative leads some fans to question what the point of the story is supposed to be, particularly when conflicts are resolved quietly and antagonists rarely feel like existential threats, reinforcing the perception that the anime is drifting rather than progressing. Confusion also arises from Frieren Beyond Journey's End, thematic focus on memory and regret, which is explored indirectly through small moments rather than explicit reflection, causing some viewers to miss key emotional beats or misunderstand their significance, especially when the anime revisits similar ideas repeatedly without obvious escalation, making it unclear whether the story is deepening its themes or simply restating them. Even the supporting cast contributes to this confusion, as characters like Fern and Stark develop gradually and subtly, often without clear turning points, leading some fans to struggle with understanding their emotional trajectories or how much they have actually changed over time. Online discussions frequently reveal viewers asking whether they missed something or whether certain moments were intentionally understated, highlighting how Frieren Beyond Journey's End refusal to guide interpretation can leave parts of its audience feeling lost rather than enlightened. This confusion is further amplified by the anime's reputation, because when a series is widely labeled as profound and emotionally powerful, viewers who don't immediately connect with it often assume the fault lies with themselves rather than the storytelling style, creating hesitation to voice confusion until it surfaces collectively online. Ultimately, Frieren Beyond Journey's End confuses some fans because it demands a different viewing mindset than most anime, one that prioritizes reflection over reaction, implication over explanation, and emotional accumulation over immediate payoff. And for viewers who approach it expecting clarity, momentum, or explicit emotional resolution, that disconnect can feel like confusion rather than intention, not because the anime lacks meaning, but because it communicates that meaning in a way that intentionally resists being easily understood. And that confusion only intensifies as viewers spend more time with the series and realize that Frieren Beyond Journey's End rarely provides retroactive clarity, meaning moments that initially felt vague or underdeveloped are not always later reframed or explained in a way that reassures confused viewers, which leads some fans to feel as though they are constantly waiting for a revelation that never quite arrives. This is especially apparent in how the anime handles emotional payoffs, where significant realizations are often internalized by Frieren rather than externalized through dialogue or action, leaving the audience to infer change without concrete confirmation. A storytelling choice that can feel rewarding to some, but alienating to others who are unsure whether they are interpreting the narrative correctly. Confusion also stems from the anime's moral and philosophical ambiguity, as Frieren frequently presents ideas about life, memory, and mortality without clearly endorsing a perspective, offering observation rather than judgment, which contrasts sharply with anime that frame themes through clear, ideological conflict, causing some viewers to struggle with understanding what the series is ultimately trying to say beyond its surface melancholy. Another recurring point of confusion comes from Frieren's power scaling and magic system, which is intentionally understated and rarely explained in traditional terms, leading viewers to question the stakes of conflicts and the relative importance of battles, especially when powerful moments are resolved quietly or without dramatic emphasis, making it unclear whether a confrontation was meant to be pivotal or merely incidental. Fans online often point out that this lack of clarity extends to the anime's tone, which shifts subtly between nostalgia, quiet humor, and existential reflection without clear transitions, causing some viewers to feel emotionally unanchored as they are unsure how to process scenes that blend lighthearted interactions with heavy thematic weight. The anime's episodic rhythm further compounds this confusion, as the repetition of travel, reflection, and small-scale encounters can blur together for viewers who rely on structural variation to signal progression, making it difficult to distinguish between moments of setup and moments of payoff. This has led to discussions about whether Frieren is best experienced as a collection of emotional impressions rather than a traditional narrative, a framing that, while appealing to some, leaves others unsure of how to engage with the story beyond passive observation. Even Frieren Beyond Journey's End, relationship with her former party contributes to this uncertainty, as flashbacks to Himmel, Heiter, and Eisen often appear without clear narrative purpose in the moment, prompting viewers to question whether these scenes are meant to advance Frieren Beyond Journey's End growth or simply reinforce the same emotional idea repeatedly. Over time, this accumulation of ambiguity can make it hard for some fans to articulate what they are supposed to take away from the series, resulting in the common online sentiment of appreciating Frieren Beyond Journey's End intellectually while remaining emotionally unsure of how or why it resonates. Ultimately, this layered confusion is not accidental but structural, as Frieren Beyond Journey's End is designed to be felt gradually rather than understood immediately. Yet for viewers seeking narrative clarity, emotional signposts, or explicit thematic resolution, that design choice can feel less like subtlety and more like obscurity, reinforcing the divide between fans who find the anime quietly profound and those who walk away unsure of what they just experienced or why it mattered.